I've learned I'm a connector. If I can connect people and help them think bigger to create bigger futures for themselves, then introduce them to the right people to help them into their bigger future, I think that's where I find my most passion, where I'm most energized.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Leadership Syllabus. I'm your series host and leadership performance coach, John Jaramillo. The Leadership Syllabus podcast provides insights from leaders on the main leadership lesson they've learned from their work, life, and experience and who they are as a person. Each 30-minute mod will capture a bit about who the guest is, their work, and the one lesson they would contribute to the Leadership Syllabus. This collection of mods will offer you a one-series stop of real-world and life experiences to enhance your own self-understanding, awareness, and effectiveness in leadership and life. And today's mod is Leadership from Behind, and today's contributor is Brian Waddell. And Brian is a financial advisor dedicated to helping individuals and families build, protect, and transfer their wealth. He works closely with clients to develop personalized strategies focused on long-term financial security and goals. Brian is committed to delivering thoughtful guidance and building lasting relationships through every stage of life. And we were just talking about how we came across each other's work. And I forget if it was on LinkedIn or Facebook, some by chance came across Brian. And I think it may have been when he was speaking about the Dads in Business group he had founded on Facebook. And Brian just is very passionate about his work, very passionate about family, very, very passionate about community. And I know that just from everything he shares on his personal Facebook page, as well as what he brings into the Dads in Business group. And we're talking about I was talking and sharing about how grateful I am that he and his co-founders of that page have set that up, because I think it is important for dads' mental health, their work, their family, their commitment. It's great that fathers have a place to go where they can kind of talk to other dads about everything they're going through, whether it's professionally, work, family, whatever it may be. So Brian, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the introduction. Did I give you that introduction?
That last piece was on me.
Because it was pretty complete. I do appreciate it. Thank you for what a great way to start a week on a Monday morning.
Hey, listen, I've always been nice to people, I'd like to think, but I try to go the extra mile these days to let somebody know how important they've been to my life. And it's not blowing smoke. It's not hyperbole. I think this day and age, people need to know what a difference they make in other people's lives. Because I think in the past, we've just kept so much to ourselves, and you never know when somebody's going to be gone. Not you, and not anytime soon. But I just know it's important to say what you mean in the moment, because I think I don't mince words. I want to get right to what I believe about someone. So thank you.
Yeah, man. I love that. Say what you mean in the moment. That's going to stick with me. And it's amazing how far one little word of encouragement can go. As we're talking about the Dads in Business group there too, it's, the culture of that group is what I think we've all benefited from the most. And that's something that we all contribute to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Positive focus. A lot of the guys, as they come across that group, when I had first come across it, we're all, I see all these dads groups on Facebook, and they're all like, none of them are positive. They go there and they just become a negative vortex. And we know, leadership, that there is no progress without positivity.
Yeah.
And these words of encouragement, we all have insecurities, and the more, we all become better leaders by helping others overcome their insecurities in some ways. One little word of encouragement can go a long way in doing so.
Even sharing about your own.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've gotten a lot better at just saying what's on my mind, where in the past that would kind of bog me down. Now it's a release, and then you can really get to who you are, what you want to share with your community. So Brian, starting off with you, how would you describe yourself? Who are you as a person?
Who am I as a person? I go deep on this topic pretty often. Unique ability exercises. Who is Brian Waddell? As I try to define what I want my family to stand for, and we were just doing some workshops around this with the Dads in Business group. I've learned I'm a connector. If I can connect people and help them think bigger to create bigger futures for themselves, then introduce them to the right people to help them into their bigger future. I think that's where I find my most passion, where I'm most energized. It's part of what's kept the Dads in Business group going as it grows, and we're the average of the people we spend the most time around. And, if we can surround ourselves with the right people, that's where we can raise the tide, not just for others, but ultimately for ourselves. And I think that's where it ties back into that leadership from behind principle.
Where did that come from in you? That connector? Where did you see that modeled? Is it just something that came to you naturally, piecemealing things in life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think getting into my business, just being business minded, enterprising in general. I come from a family of business owners, and my mother was a realtor. My father had a business importing from Colombia, South America. Uh, um, Legitimate importing business from Colombia, South America, by the way.
Yeah.
And my mother's from Colombia, and our family down there had a factory, and it's community based.
Yeah.
Anything's community based to connect people and keep people connected is a community focus. Not to mention there's probably some, my parents divorced when I was 21 years old, and I don't know if that was something that was coming for a long time, and I probably felt it for a long time, the need to keep a family together. I think connectedness in general has been maybe a deep-seated core of mine. The a messy estate plan on my dad's side when my grandparents passed, and just the desire to keep things connected, I
Yeah.
think has helped fuel that.
Brian, what do you want to share about your work? You referenced it a little, but give us a little flavor of the work that you do, the services you provide for your clients, anything you want to share on that.
So the work I do, I tend to not lead with that stuff when I'm in settings like this on the nitty gritty, because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
One, two, there's a lot of regulation in my business, and we're not at liberty to go promoting ourselves without certain compliance requirements. But where I think everybody can have a sense of direction is just really understanding where they are today. I like to help people create a bigger future for themselves. Again, it's part of one of my driving principles, and so, I mean, in general, we help people create a bigger future for themselves by understanding better where they are now, defining where they want to be in the future, and then connecting them with the right resources and basically showing them a GPS route. And I'm careful with my language here, but there's trade-offs with anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
There is no one fits all solution to anything. And especially when it comes to my line of work, and again, I'm being careful with my words here, there are different ways of getting somewhere. And so we help show them the GPS, the trade-offs in any of the decisions that they have.
So you've spoken about how community connection was on display for you, or if there was a need, like estate planning, you saw that there was disconnection there. So it's always about building up connection, or from your experience, fixing where there was disconnection. For you, bringing that into your work, right? The business side of things, what has your business taught you? Aside from leadership that we'll get into, what overall has your business taught you, your career?
Yeah, there is one thing I would go back to that in all my experience personally and in business, success long-term always comes back to one person in somebody's life. Whether that's a trusted family member or friend, the biggest mistakes in life are able to be avoided by somebody's guidance. And again, it could come from somebody in the family, it could come from a friend or a trusted professional. And
Yeah.
part of what drives me to constantly become better at what we do and the way that we can connect with people, because we could be the best at the world at what we do, but if we're not connecting with somebody at their level, they're not going to make any difference in their lives. But is to be able to, if I could be who I am now to my family when they needed somebody like me, that's what keeps me going.
That's amazing. It's incredible how so many people that I've spoken to on this podcast, on the other podcast, the Book Leads, have spoken about the trials, tribulations, balance, challenges in their lives. And then the work that they're doing is based on what they wish they had when they were younger.
Right.
Whether it's weird whether it's conscious. They're like, okay, I didn't have that as a kid, as a young person. I need to kind of get that and I want to share that with others, or unconscious, like, or subconscious. They don't even think about why they're doing that work, but they trace it back to their experiences for good or bad. And it's incredible when you can trace it back to one person. Like, it goes back to what you said before, like just one word, one phrase of wisdom, one conversation can change things completely for somebody. Because I think we're so reactive in life, the way, we're just in survival mode, where if we stop to think about our thinking, what somebody can help us
There you
do in
go.
that quick moment, that's all it takes. I mean, and you've seen it through the Facebook group, your own work, just the impression you can leave on somebody.
Absolutely. The best businesses in the world are built on what the problem that they're solving for themselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And sharing that with the world. And we could see the same in parenting.
Oh God, give me some of that. If you
You know,
could, if you want to share some insights from your parenting journey.
well, it's just to be who we needed when we were young is, as I think, the greatest gift that we could pass on to our kids. And it's not to say that, our parents didn't do the best by us. We're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
imperfect. We all learn, and it's part of what's beautiful. I think it's what connects us with our parents as we age. As we learn their imperfections, because we start to worry about it ourselves, right? We
Yeah.
understand, wow, we understand how much effort there was. But I think that is, that's what progress is at the end of the day, is be able to be more of, at least, who we needed when we were young.
Yeah, and there's always that, for me, that importance of one generation doing slightly better, incrementally better than the one before it. I only recently found out that, your family is from Colombia. My family's Colombian. Um, they came here as immigrants, blue collar workers. All they wanted was for me to not be in a factory, not working like that. So now I've done that. And just to honor their legacy, I want to keep working harder. But it's incredible how, if you pay attention to what you can take away and build upon that foundation that your parents laid out for you, it's incredible. It's a great lesson to see later in life and really appreciate.
And just on that note too, and look at we could probably both pass. I mean, we might get confused if someone would come across the street, right, thinking we were each other. But look at that. If both of our families come from the same country, talking about generational progress, here we go.
Yeah.
It's our duty.
Yeah.
It's to pay it back is to pay it forward. Can I ask a quick question? You got family down in Colombia still?
Oh yeah. About 95% of my family's down there.
Oh, okay. So in very similar situation myself, and I asked that because part of what's driven me to build these communities is I can't be the only gringo, the guy that had all the opportunity that the rest of my family down there doesn't have, and not take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's our duty.
Absolutely. Very good point. And what's great is we weren't motivated by that. We were motivated in some other way, but we checked that box by saying, I'm not going to let you down. This isn't going to be in vain. I'm not going to take it for granted. So I appreciate you sharing, man. So Brian, now in terms of leadership, the mod title that you selected is Leadership from Behind. So where does that come in from your work? What is it that inspired you to share this particular mod title and lesson with me?
I mean, I guess I really first realized leadership from behind as a thing maybe 6 or 7 years ago, working with my first personal coach. It was sales coaching mixed in a little life coaching. This is a time in my life where it was watching Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory at Milet, just inundated with all of this. I just had my daughter, my firstborn. I was dead driven on becoming the best version of myself. And so surrounding myself with as much of that as I possibly could have. And during COVID in particular, there was a vacuum of leadership in a lot of organizations and just in the world in general. And I was finding my footing where I stood with all that. And I had also been careful and I guess conscious of rule number one of the 48 laws of power, law number one, Dr. Robert Greene's book, never outshine the master. And I pay great respect to the people, those that have come before me, my mentors. And I think sometimes, especially when you're younger, that you're not necessarily going to have the most impact by leading from the front, but by influencing from behind and empowering others to lead where they maybe just needed that one word of encouragement or that one um, vision or clarity with the vision itself. So I came across leadership from behind. Excuse me.
Yeah.
At that time, and it really has come to emerge into much of a principle that I come to own these days. And as I've been developed in my own leadership style, I know that none of us are going to get to where we want to get to alone. It always takes a team. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And the more that you can help other people get to where they want to go, then, the better off we are getting to where we want to.
So in terms of that kind of mentality, what are some ideas? Like what are a couple steps as a call to action for this audience about how they can begin thinking in that manner, in that mindset? Obviously everybody's in different situations, right? From the top of the hierarchy down to the bottom, whatever industry it may be. But what are some things that people can take into consideration or start thinking in different ways to consider how much they can actually influence? Because it's amazing how many people leave so much on the table. They are in a certain position underneath a certain boss in a certain team, and they just figure, okay, there's nothing I can change. Again, if they had that word of encouragement and just kind of look around, see what your resources are, see what your value is. It's incredible how much we forfeit thinking that wherever we might be, this is it. I have no power in this situation. So what kind of call to action, what kind of steps do you think somebody can take to begin kind of taking that agency and realizing just how much power they may have?
I think the first thing that come to mind is helping other people get what they want first. Zig Ziglar said that if you can have anything you want in the world if you are willing to not take the credit for it.
Absolutely.
And it takes a good deal of, again, helping other people with, at the base of it all, their own insecurities. None of us know if we're really doing all of the things the right way. And a word of encouragement can go a long way, part of what we opened with. But then giving them credit for what you might even help them with yourself. Letting other people take the credit. One of the podcasts I saw with Dr. Greene on that rule number one or law number one of the 48 laws of power goes back to, talked about Eminem and Dr. Dre. Mm-hmm. And relevant, many people in your audience might know who they are, I would hope, because otherwise I'd be really aging myself.
Same here. Same here.
But Eminem was able to rise to the level of fame he did because he didn't take all the credit from Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre might have faded in the limelight a little bit, but I think in any mentor-mentee type of dynamic, you get to a point where you're kind of going to outgrow the teacher to some degree. But being careful to not do that and only paying your respect is where they will be able to continue to place you in opportunities that aren't going to make them look worse.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes down to, you can have the best, most giving mentor in the world, and we could all think that we are in some ways, but at some point, we're all going to have a natural human emotion of just like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be taking steps backwards yet. I'm not ready to kind of hang my hat up yet. And one of the ways you can get around that is just by paying respect and giving people credit where it's due, giving people credit, even though credit might be yours, is giving it away.
Yeah.
As you can. That's one thing that comes to mind. Who, not how is a principle I talk about a lot, and everywhere I am, and by business and the Dads in Business group. Again, like the answer is not in how we're going to do something, but in who we need to do it, because we all have our unique abilities. We all have our swim lanes. And even in the interest of productivity, like we could be really good. We can get a lot of stuff done at what we're good at. The stuff that we're not good at, we're going to get hung up. We're going to get writer's block. We're just going to get blocked or bogged down, lose our energy. And where that same thing that we're losing our energy with, there's somebody else out there that's their main thing. That's what energizes that. And so, it's teamwork, it's team building. It's all of that the answer is in who we surround ourselves, not necessarily how we're going to do something. And that's the essence of leadership, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What comes to mind when you describe that kind of mindset about giving things away, giving credit, as you're doing that, you're not diminishing yourself. So the first thing that comes to mind when you mention that is fear, because I think that's what blocks a lot of people is that fear that they have that if I give away, it's a zero-sum game. So if I give somebody something, that means that I'm losing. That means that I'm showing vulnerability. That means that I'm losing face. But if you have confidence in who you are, what you do, the value you provide, that ability to create a ripple effect through your environment, it's kind of like you're just giving away good energy that you're creating anyway, in whatever form it is, whatever.
Yeah, and it comes back around. It's fear versus abundance.
Exactly.
It's an abundance mindset, and that there's more to gain by giving it away. And true impact is in building other people. Like the highest service any of us could have is in service to others. And serving those who serve others is the ultimate stage 5 leadership, as John Maxwell would put it. Having a leader-filled organization of leaders that lead other leaders, self-multiplying organization. That's how we raise the tide.
Yeah. So for you, what is it that keeps fear at bay? You've mentioned community, connection, family, but if you could speak a little more to that ability to be pulled towards an abundance mindset versus the scarcity. Can you speak a little more to that? Just because it fuels what you're sharing, what you're telling us.
Absolutely. And it's a good question, one that maybe I haven't reflected so much on, but I would think that what helps me from going into fear is some version of faith. And whether that's faith in the sense of God or just faith in that I know this works and it's what's worked in the past. And even when I'm applying it to something new, I might be thinking I'm just giving something away and not getting anything in return for it. No expectations in return. There is an element of faith in that I know this is for the greater good. And I know that, either I leave the world in a better place, my community in a better place, and ultimately it creates a better world for the people that are most important to me. There's an element of faith to it all in giving the credit away. One, excuse me, example of that, even with the Dads in Business Group I've been very careful to not promote myself within that group, although it's a market of people that I do my best work with in business owners.
Yeah, right? I noticed that.
And I think it's for the right reason, because I learned quickly on that it was something bigger than just a marketing opportunity, that this was an underserved market, a demographic in the world, fathers, men that are business owners that are juggling these glass balls, that there was something way bigger to solve than just by gaining a client or even a few. And there's been a natural byproduct along the way, which I'm grateful for. And I think the best is yet to come with all of that. But that comes only with an abundance mindset, in that I don't need something to be able to continue to give. As long as I'm giving it in the right areas and it's in service to others. And the other reason is because there's more benefit for the people that are in that group. The tide only rises if it's not just me. I can't raise the tide myself.
Yeah.
Right. Having other guys in a leadership position within that group so that other people can benefit from all of their different areas of expertise is what really has, I think, sustained the group now going on 4 years. I don't know if the group would have been around as long as it has, were it not for me being mindful of building other people up, giving other people the opportunity to share what they're best at and their message with the group. The one thing I can look to is I've said many times to a couple of the guys in the group, Danny Laguerre, Chris Kaplan, man, those guys are so good when they're on stage in front of the group at the events that we've done, is if I can, and I say to myself, if I could just put these guys on a bigger stage, the stage that they deserve,
Yeah.
and think outside of myself. It's not, how can I get more people into this room to work with me? It's, I want to put Chris Kaplan and Danny Laguerre and Craig Morrell on a bigger stage because more people need to hear what these guys are talking about. And the rest really trickles down from there and takes care of itself.
Yeah. 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 There's that faith too. Like, it's not an expectation, but you know that putting it out there for others, it enhances your own community. You know, we're not going to just apply it to others and leave ourselves hanging, but we know if we put out that good stuff, that great ripple effect, it'll ripple through our community and it kind of perpetuates itself and hits us back.
Absolutely. And you become the center of influence yourself in the process.
Yeah.
You know, and from a leadership standpoint, you just become the person that's sought out. And not because you set out to be the person that was sought out, but because you built the community, built the people up within the community.
Yeah.
You're behind it all. And that's the leadership from behind.
Yeah. There's a big difference between, setting up a group, whether it's a Facebook group or an organization, and saying, okay, I'm the person in charge, and just kind of like always making sure people know that. There's a big difference between that and really being the person that's able to put the right people, as you've said, in the right positions, facilitating, seeing the bigger picture, and just from that abundance mindset, just putting that out there. And again, I've noticed that with you, everything that you share on there is kind of to drive the message, to drive the mission of the group. And I never see you put out there for your own business. So I appreciate everything you're doing, because I think dads in business, dads, with growing families, whatever it may be, I find a lot of great stories in there, a lot of great support. So I appreciate you helping establish that group, as well as just everything that you do. Because I can tell just from the messages you share on there, how committed you are to that there's a difference between being a leader on paper or an admin, whatever it may be, and being someone that really pushes people to see the best in themselves and connect all those people. So I appreciate you so much, man.
Yeah. And if I could throw one more in the hat real quick on the business side of things, even in my own business where, I think leadership from behind has played a big role into making some deals happen in my actual business, is to not try to take, again, too much credit for yourself, and to don't strive to make like the perfect pitch or presentation, even when it's about, making a deal happen between a couple partners. I've done a couple acquisitions in my days, and it's about letting other people take steps towards the end game themselves. So kind of leaving the crumbs in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Not being the one where it's just like, hey, I made this perfect presentation without anybody's input. Like, I didn't need anybody's input to make this perfect presentation, because guess what? No one's going to buy into that. You need the buy-in from the people that are around you. Any organization does.
Yeah.
It's like to leave little places within whatever the deal is or the initiative is open enough so that other people could come in and close them. Now you have their buy-in. Now you can work on it.
Amen.
And I'd always give a piece of a deal away to have more people involved. That's sustainability. We all need that as men in business for continuity's sake.
Amen.
Right? But that there's always a benefit to having a team together and going farther.
Absolutely. Brian, thank you so much for sitting down for this conversation, brother.
Yes, sir, man. I look forward to connecting a little bit more and get to know each other a little bit better.
Absolutely. If there's anything I might have missed, let me know. We're short on time. I'll reach out to Brian, see what kind of insights, guidance, additional wisdom I can get from him. In the meantime, thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.